Hi, sorry. I'm having technical difficulties at this second.
No.
It's not bad. It's just that I was gonna do something. Or I am doing something. And it took me forever to find the fucking thing I was looking for. And on top of that, it turns out my cord was not long enough, so I had to unplug my camera.
Oh. Oh no.
I know, it's so sad, so crazy. Oh fuck,
So
come
sad.
on. So crad, so crad, so sad.
So crabs.
Crabs? Mr. Krabs?
Crabs. Mr. Krabs.
Alright. Almost got it. Okay. The fudge? I apologize, everyone, in advance for my... What the fudge?
Oh, wait, let me... There we go.
What the hell? Why is that not working? Again, I am sorry for... Ah!
Let me check if this is actually working.
There we go.
Oh, you can hear myself. Oh, your shit looks cool. Mine's very dramatic.
Let's see. Alright. I just now have to fix VTube Studio and we'll be good to go.
Okie doke.
Nice, small. Alright, camera off. Camera on.
See, why isn't your chat coming into mine?
Oh, because I forgot to do that.
Oh, we forgot to turn it back on, did we?
No, I just hadn't done it yet.
Oh, thank you. I was like, what? Why don't I see your chat? Where is it?
There we go. Ooh, spooky.
Whoa.
Oh. I think there's a certain... I think there's like a certain threshold I can be close enough to the camera where it just stops working. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. Stop making those sounds, you're gonna make me scared.
Boo.
Ah! Alright. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the CreepyPasta reading.
Whoa.
I'm Ruby Neko-chan, and with me is...
Hello?
You're supposed to say your name.
Hi. Sorry. The lag is killing me. You cut out for me, okay? Leave me alone. Hello, I'm Nami. Or JJ.
We have a few creepypastas today. We only got one submission in the forums, but we did look up...
But I want...
Hmm?
I want to start with the classic though.
You want to start with
Because
the
I haven't
classic?
even read this one.
Which one?
Yeah, I want to start with Slenderman.
Yeah, we can read Slenderman. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read
Yeah.
it?
Yo. You can read it.
You want me to read it? Alright.
Yeah, you can read it. I'll be reading like as well, but like not out loud.
Mm-hmm. It sounded so intentional. Alright. Slender Man. Wait, which one's the real one? Ah, here we go.
It's the one that came out in 2010, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, found it.
Yeah.
Almost
Paragraph by paragraph? I feel like it's... I think it's better if like one of us reads one story, because then you can kind of keep the same like
vibe.
tempo, I guess. Yeah, the vibe
same
and tempo.
and temper. Yeah, I like that idea. Oh my god, this page is... CreepyPasta is filled with ads left, right, and center. Holy moly.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I do like your suggestion though, Tenet.
Alright, that's where you start. Okay, I mean, I believe that's where you start. Oh, wait. This isn't really a... Rather than a...
Like
oh, wait,
story?
CreepyPasta story.
No,
I found
it
it.
is.
I found it.
Yeah.
I have to scroll down for it. Heller, stop scrolling. Stop. Oh, I think my computer's being hacked. Alright. After waking up in a jolt, the girl laid in bed a few seconds longer. Reaching over to switch on her bedside lamp, she tried to remember exactly what had stolen her sweet slumber away. When she couldn't, the brunette swung her legs over the side of the bed and heaved herself up. Checking the time on her phone, she snorted when she saw it was midnight, the witching hour. Knowing that sleep would only evade her, she left her bedroom for the kitchen, a good cup of coffee on her mind. As she passed by her front door, a chill spread like liquid fire down her spine. It's only winter, she told herself, focusing again on the coffee plan. Measuring out scoops of water and preparing her cup kept her occupied. But as the dark liquid boiled, she had nothing left to keep her mind from wandering off. The chill returned, and she couldn't help but glance behind her to the front door. It stood there, innocently enough, just like always. The deadbolt was still in place, and she couldn't see nothing amiss with it. Turning back to her coffee, she did her best to forget about the feeling. With her cup in hand, she started back towards her bedroom. As she walked by her front door, she decided that a quick glance out the peephole would help her calm her restless mind. The chill worsened with each step she took towards the door, and further away from the safety and warmth of her blankets. She pressed her empty head against the cold metal door and took a deep breath. Heed? What?
Hand.
Oh, hand. My bad.
Not head. I was like, I think that's an important detail, but it's hand, not head.
At first, she could only see an inky blackness, and she somehow seemed to swell in itself. When she blinked in surprise, the void melted away. She wished it hadn't. In its place, there stood what she could only guess was once a man. The limbs were long and inhumanely awkward, with bulky joints branching off into several arms, not unlike the branches of a tree. The creature was draped in a black suit, somehow making the thing more nightmarish to her. The icing on the proverbial cake, however, was what passed as the hellish thing's face. It was as though her mind blurred the ghastly visage to spare itself further shock and horror. She shoved herself away from the door, with the hand still pressed against it. The scalding mug of coffee fell, the liquid burning her bare legs as she fell backwards and tried to crawl, away from the door. She knew somehow that her mind hadn't been playing tricks on her. As she crab walked away from the door, she watched as tendrils as black as the void she first saw snake around through the cracks. The girl was trapped between the instinct to flee and the gut feeling to not turn her back on the door. When the door jolted, the urge to flee overcame her, and she slipped in the burning liquid as she tried to make it back to her room. She knew deep down that she was trapping herself in a corner, but she had to get away from the door. The girl was halfway down the hallway when she heard the previously locked door creak open. She screamed and slipped into a wall, cracking her chin on it and stunning her. After that, there was only blackness. "Nicole?" A warm male voice snapped the woman out of a trance. As she turned around, she was met by one of her sister's doctors. She nodded, not sure if she should say anything or if she could find her voice if she did have something to say. That morning, she had gotten an urgent call from the hospital, saying that her sister Lindsay was there. Before they had even let her see her, the doctor had pulled her off to the side, and instead they talked to her about what might have happened. Phrases like self-inflicted and assault had been thrown around, and Nicole felt her mind reel. She hadn't fully understood what they had been saying until she saw Lindsay with her own eyes. Her little sister had a bandage wrapped around her head, covering both her eyes as well as her ears as well as her eyes. They said it was to keep her now deadened eye from drying out, and to try and keep the infection out of her wounds Lindsay had made to her ears. The doctor had guessed that either she or someone had jammed a pencil into them to keep her off her balance or to deafen her against something. There was a mix of first and second degree burns on her hands and legs and feet from what was assumed to be the coffee her neighbors found slipped all over the entry to her apartment. As Nicole walked to her sister's hospital room for the first time, she thought she had spied the silhouette of a man in the window. That she knew was impossible. Her sister's room was on the 3rd story of the hospital. Ooh.
Ooh. So that's just the creepypasta one part of it. I know who Slenderman is, but I never like read the story on it.
Neither.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Alright, what do you want to read?
What do I want to read? Do I want to read the submission one, or do we want to read another classic one before we go to that one?
It's up to you. Do you want to read the submission one?
Another class.
Mr. Mix.
Sure, I can read the submission one. Let me find it.
Do you want me to send it in chat?
In our DMs, sure.
Yeah.
Send in the DMs and all.
DM.
There you go.
Oh, this one's straight up story. That's cool.
Oh, this is on the wiki.
Yeah. That's what we were.
I was using the actual creepypasta website.
Oh, wait, you right.
This is the creepypasta wiki.
I didn't even realize. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Okay. Does anyone remember an old PC game from the early 1990s called Mr. Mix? It was mainly a typing game, similar to Mario Teaches Typing, where you have to put words into a box to make a chef. The titular Mr. Mix place ingredients into a bowl. Unlike most typing games, however, the game was notorious for having an insanely difficulty curve. It had words per minute requirement for each level, being as low as 10 on level 1 and as high as 85 on the 3rd. By level 5, the requirement reaches over 500, effectively making it impossible to proceed any further. One of the main things that people immediately noticed about the game was the background music. On the first level, it was an unsettling pattern of growls that got progressively louder as the level went on, often causing damage to early computer speakers that were not designed to handle extremely high volumes. The second level had no music at all, and the third had what? And the third had what sounded like a very low quality recording of a hairdryer playing in the background. The remaining two levels had an incredibly loud, high-pitched ringing throughout that caused severe eardrum damage to those who managed to get that far. Another rather disturbing aspect of the game was the design of Mr. Mix himself. He was a large, round-faced, overweight man with beady eyes and red spots on his cheeks. Most children who'd played the game reported having vivid nightmares of Mr. Mix speaking to them in a quiet, raspy voice and threatening them to keep quiet about something. However, none of them could remember exactly what that was. One psychologist who saw many of these children reported being disturbed by the sheer amount of terror on their faces as they recounted details of the nightmare. Many of them broke down into tears in the process, begging for their parents to save them. However, no direct relationship to the game itself could be determined by these few cases, as not all children suffered the same adverse effects. For obvious reasons, the game did not sell very well. It remained in relative obscurity until a few years ago, when PC hackers got hold of a ROM of it and started digging through it. Using memory hacking software, they managed to crack the game's code and bypass the impossible fifth level. What they found, however, was highly disturbing and caused many of them to quit the expedition altogether. According to the reports these hackers left behind, the game behaves very strangely if the fifth level is bypassed. The game crashes violently and closes, writing a bunch of files to the user's System32 directory to the point that the RAM is almost completely filled. These files are reportedly pictures of people with horribly disformed faces appearing to scream in pain and agony, the eyes bleeding from their tear ducts and their outer layer of skin torn clean off in multiple places. If the user attempts to delete these files, their computer will violently crash and blue screen, causing permanent, irreparable damage to the hard drive. The hackers found that this was caused by a lone byte in the game's ROM that triggered when the fifth level was completed. After removing this byte, they were able to proceed to the sixth and final level. Unfortunately, all the original hackers declined to discuss what they saw in the final level. Each of them became extremely paranoid and reclusive afterwards, refusing to talk about anything related to the game and showing astonishingly extreme symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Most of them ceased to be able to form coherent sentences within a week. Within a month, all of them had gone missing. All remaining copies of the game were destroyed. To this day, no one knows what was in it that caused the group so much psychological damage. Maybe it's better that way. 2 years after the incident, a man was arrested for trying to kidnap an 8-year-old girl from a grocery store. Through DNA and fingerprint analysis, he was identified as one of the original hackers who had viewed the final level of the game. He was wearing a white chef's hat and had a look of unspeakable malice and insanity on his face. When interrogated, the man would only say one thing: "I'm Mr. Mix." Shh.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Oh my god.
That's a really good one.
I don't know if you saw, but like when like that like from like the third from the third
The third level?
no from okay, you know how you have like 1/3, 2/3, 3/3? On the third, I had my mouth just open because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That is really good. All right, let's have a quick break between our next one. Cause you did one, I did one. Now we have a little break, and then we'll do another one again.
Yeah, I get tongue-tied sometimes. I just go...
Yeah, dude. In the meantime, is there any creepy things that has happened to you in real life?
I was thinking about this recently because I've been listening to a lot of Smosh stuff. I don't think so from what I'm aware. Although I think if I lived at my grandpa's place, there would be something there. His house is old.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. No, because we never used any like Ouija boards or anything like that. I really wanted to use one when I was a kid, but then we weren't allowed because
Did I tell you about the time that I nearly got like beaten up / murdered on a bus?
Maybe.
I was on my way back from like my holiday from here to where I used to live, and when I was on the bus, there was a guy who sat next to me, and he had alcohol, which, if you know, you shouldn't have on the bus. And he was like trying to talk to me, he offered me one. I was underage at the time, so I said no. And then I felt uncomfortable just from him. Oh, and also he was one of the guys that was saying like he didn't want to sit next to this guy. This guy was I think he was Arabic, and he was like, oh, I'm not racist, but I don't want to sit next to him, kind of thing. And then that's when he got put next to me. And then yeah, as I'm like sitting there falling asleep next to the window, I hear him talking to the person in front of him, saying like, when we get off the next station, I'm going to something this fragile person. I knew they were talking about me. And that's when I was like, oh, I have to use the bathroom. And I took my bag with me. I moved to the front of the bus, and I told the bus driver. And he said, okay, I'll try and deal with it. And then I put on my hoodie and my beanie, and I slightly covered my face. I put my bag next to me to kind of like cover my body a bit. When I was like sitting at the front of the bus driver stopped, and he talked to the guy, and the guy was getting, agitated and angry. And we started driving again. The bus driver said like, when we reach the next town, we're gonna get the police involved. And when we started driving again, he started threatening the people at the back of the bus, and he was looking with his torch, like with his phone torch, through the bus looking for me, left, right, on each row, not finding me. And you could hear him scream at the top of his voice, when I find that rat, I'm going to kill him.
Wow.
And then when we finally reached the town over, the police were there. They took him off the bus. And when we started taking off again, everyone cheered.
Holy fuck.
It is literally the most scariest... Oh, actually, no, that's not the most scariest thing that's happened in my life. But it is second most scariest. I was sitting there, I was crying and not trying to... Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. I'll bring that up on the next break, Tanith. But I don't
think I have any, like, even scary stories like that.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, I was crying, but I was trying not to make a sound, because... Yeah. But yeah, this...
I wouldn't be surprised if my school is haunted.
Oh.
Like, if someone's, like, committed suicide there and, like, it's haunted. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, next break that we have, I'm going to bring up the thing that Tanif just mentioned. That is the first and most scariest thing that's happened in my life.
Oh.
And probably Tanif's life too. Alright. Whew. Okay.
You want me to start this time?
That's completely up to you. I don't mind starting the next one. I think
okay, what was the other one I wanted to read?
I think you wrote them down, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I copy pasted them.
Hmm.
Oh, the Backrooms was the one I wanted to read because I know of the Backrooms. Like it's similar to Slender Man where I know of them and I've seen like images and stuff of it, but I've never read the creepypasta. So we'll do the Backrooms.
I still have to show you that the video where I told you about what the like where the Backrooms really is.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so is it the one from 2019?
Oh, there's a part.
Oh, hello. Guys,
Hello.
Guys,
Sorry.
I think JJ died.
Oh, the Backrooms.
There's one that's written.
I didn't.
There's one written in 2019.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that one.
Okay. Estimated reading time 10 minutes. Oh wait, that's not the story though, is it? Wait, is there a story for it? Oh, there it is. The Backrooms CreepyPasta. Oh, it's a... Okay, yeah, there is one.
Yeah.
You just gotta scroll down.
I got it.
Yep. Alright. When you're ready.
It was approximately 12:15 when I entered the Johnson County Community Health Clinic. I was there for an appointment I had set up weeks ago. Just a routine checkup. It wasn't a new place for me. I had been there a couple of times before. However, the place had an odd nostalgic feeling to it, as if it were a location from my childhood or something, and I could never pinpoint exactly what this feeling was or where it came from. As I walked in, an overwhelming feeling of deja vu swept over me. The hum of the flickering fluorescent lights, the white tile flooring, the muted beige paint that colored the walls. I noticed that there was a TV mounted in the corner, a smaller flat screen that was playing a short PowerPoint slideshow on a loop of ads and events that were being held by the clinic. I was past the empty waiting area, a small area of the main room with magazines, children's playthings, and blue cushioned chairs, and approached the woman at the front desk. She was sitting in her bluish-gray office chair, looking at a spreadsheet on the same Windows XP desktop that they'd had since 2008. There was a sign-in sheet on the counter in front of me. I have an appointment with Dr. Pebbins? Pebbins, I asked. What time? 12:30, I replied. She began typing something into her keyboard. Ah, yes, she responded. Gary Johnson? Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll tell the doctor. Please fill this out. She handed me a clipboard which held a simple fill-out form. I walked back to the waiting area, took a seat, and began to fill out the form. I was about halfway done with filling in my information when I slumped back in my chair. I hadn't gotten much sleep the night prior, and I was exhausted. As I slumped back, I noticed something very peculiar. My head never hit the wall. In fact, it felt like it went in. I got up, quite frightened, and looked at the wall. Nothing. Not a single hole or dent had been made in the wall by my head. So I reached to touch the wall, and my fingers went through it. I recoiled in shock. What the hell was that? I thought, as I reached to touch the wall again, only to find my fingers clipped through once more. Then, suddenly, I lost my balance, tripped, and fell directly through the wall. I fell face first onto some dirty tan carpeting. Upon getting back up, I realized that I was in a completely different room. Well, not really a room per se, more so a set of rooms, all of which connected by openings. The walls were covered in gross tan patterned wallpaper. There was an overwhelming stench of moist carpet. I turned back around and tried to put my hand back through the wall, and it couldn't go through. Okay, what the fuck? I muttered. I looked back into the room. There was no windows, no doors, nothing on the walls other than the disgusting wallpaper, of course. It was completely empty, aside from a singular plastic blue school chair. At this point, the only thing going through my mind was fear, and the repeating thought of I need to leave, on loop in my head. I started running through the rooms, desperately trying to find an exit, but to no avail. There was no exit. Was this my permanent location until I die? No, there had to be a way out. I wasn't just going to be left here, right? Eventually, someone would notice that I was gone. But nobody did. Then, in the distance, I heard footsteps. But not those of humans. At least, not a normal human. Alongside the footsteps was a gargling snarl, like that of an angry animal. I began to run. I ran as fast as I could from whatever the hell was approaching me. I didn't want anything to do with it. I ran for what seemed like forever, but I was always back in the same room I started in. At least, it looked like the same room. Not that I could tell them apart. So I sat down, defeated. A feeling of dread filled my body as I started to cry. I was going to die here. I'm still there. I haven't left. I've accepted my fate. In fact, I can actually hear footsteps. I wonder who that is.
Damn, bro.
Ooh.
Yeah, we
I like
should
that one.
we should play the backrooms at some point.
No!
No?
No! I've seen Iron Mouse crying!
Oh, really? I haven't even
Of
played it. I have
Pure
it.
Terror.
Pure.
I've seen clips of, like, Connor, like, shutting the door on Iron Mouse and her being like, Connor!
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, girl, I'm gonna cry if I play that game. I'm
Man,
scared.
he's so mean.
Okay, your turn.
What's the next one?
Okay, so we got the Russian sleeping experiment,
Oh, I know
the
what
Smiling
that
Man, the Entity, the Midnight Meat Train, and that's it actually, because the last one was Slenderman.
Hold on, I want to see. Oh,
Thanks for the follow.
Psychosis, thank you for the follow. Let me see if the one I like is on here. Because if it is, I want to read that. What the fuck? What? This website really hates me.
It's not on the list, is it?
No, it's not. This
No,
website really hates me, man.
I think I want to read the Smiling Man. That one seems creepy.
Ah. Alright, so what do you say?
Oh, the Smiling Man in Black. Okay.
So...
You sent a few via DMs? Nice!
Oh, okay. I'll read one of those then. Oh, you want me to read the Dead Bart one, even though I sent it to you?
Have you read that one?
The Smosh did.
Oh, the dead... Wait, what was it called again?
Dead Bart. It's the Simpsons episode, remember? The hidden one?
Oh, that one! Yeah, Dead Bart. Sorry. Yeah. My brain broke. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's, what was my favorite one from the Smosh one? I think it was the one that was Shane's favorite. I just don't remember what it was called. Oh, it was, Coney Island or something? Or the pirate one? The one that was the pirate show?
Yeah, the Pirate Island one, I think
that one was my favorite one. That one was good.
I'm gonna read Survival Guide. This is one Tanif just
Survival Guide.
This is one Tanif just submitted. Estimate reading time is about 4 minutes.
Sounds familiar. Yeah,
Okay.
It sounds familiar. I just
Also,
don't know.
I really need to get rid of these ads because they're actually lagging me out.
Yeah, I think they're lagging me as well.
Let me just do this.
Ooh, okay. Let me check how long the smiling man in black is.
Alright.
Because this isn't
Oh, that's so much better. I
4
just got
minutes as well.
literally just got an ad blocker and it's fixed.
Jeez.
Alright. You ready?
Yep.
Alright. Okay. We've all been there. You have just gone to a certain place at a certain time on a certain date. Done a special thing, and the thing you suspected would happen has just fucking happened. Not to mention the fact that you just seen whatever the fuck it is that lives in your mirror. Been told in detail how you're going to die, and the highly demonic and invincible thing you summoned is heading towards you. Also, your family are all dead. Your friends are all missing, and you're being framed by someone with access to your bedroom. What the fuck do you do now, sweet protagonist? Well, you've come to the right place to find out. These are the simple rules one must follow in order to, firstly, not become the victim of CreepyPasta, and furthermore, to come out kicking if the worst does happen. With the help of this guide, you too can be a catatonic, traumatized wreck, as opposed to the guy currently being worn as a coat by some dude who roams a lot. Just keep these simple rules in mind. Rule number 1. Mirrors and darkness don't mix. Rule number 2. Actually, mirrors are a general no in CreepyPasta world. There is nothing more sinister. Number 3. There is 0 chance of survival if you look in the thing that no one else can see or answer its question incorrectly. Number 4. If you are alone at night in a creepy mental institution, take some time to consider what the fuck are you doing there. Then, if it's appropriate to do so, leave. Number 5. Avoid going to places where everyone else who went there never came back or died inexplicably. Number 6. If someone stops your vehicle at night and asks to come with you, it would probably be in your best interest to politely decline. Number 7. Killing is the last method of survival. Use it sparingly, but without fear. Number 8. Who was phone is always a good thing to ponder. Also, who the hell answers a phone while kissing a dead person's sexy daughter? A douche who is who? A douche is who? Oh. Number 9. Get a simple .38 revolver, load it with 2 silver bullets. If you really feel there is no chance to come alive out of a situation, take one shot at whatever's threatening you. If that doesn't work, you still have the last shot to become a hero with. Number 10. Area 51 is simply too well guarded to let you get in or to let any alien out. Number 11. When going to a hotel, try to steer clear of unauthorized areas. If you couldn't resist but you saw a red thing, take some time to consider the price range and the hotel standard on your next visit. Have you ever stayed in a haunted Hilton? Number 12. When booking your hotel stay, TripAdvisor can be an invaluable tool in determining whether your choice in the scene of a multiple murder / full of dead people / built at the mouth of hell. Local newspapers can also help. Number 13. Invoking demons, speaking weird languages, and performing rituals of any kind is considered dangerous. Refrain from doing that, especially around abandoned warehouses, churches, psychiatric institutions, forests, and your house in front of a mirror at night. Number 14. When going to a new area, environmental understanding is key to survival. Ask around for cursed places, legends, dangers, and other details. Listen to the local people's advice, and don't be afraid to ask if you're unsure of which attacks / disappearances are paranormal and which aren't. Number 15. Always have a Bible next to your bed. Provides average reading material, proof of beliefs, and a really heavy object to throw at enemies. Number 16. Don't count on holy water. Get a sturdy vial of sulfuric acid and let a priest consecrate it. Number 17. Japanese priests cleanse room by waving katana swords around. Their ritual is 100% effective on corporeal forms. Number 18. If you find 666 messages on your phone, mailbox, email, etc., consider changing the said service provider. Also, don't bother listening/reading the messages. It's spam, extra dimensional possibly, but spam nevertheless. Number 19. Old pharmaceutical companies can't help you unless you specifically need blood of the innocent, snake oil, and radioactive syrup, which is never. Number 20. If you need to sign it in blood, you do not need to sign it. All mainstream governing bodies will accept contracts signed in ink. Bear this in mind if offered deals that seem too good to be true. Number 21. Lighthouses are dangerous. Avoid them at all costs. If you work at a lighthouse, consider a career in insurance sales or veterinary care. Number 22. There is simply no reason to listen to music that causes suicidal tendencies or to watch films that have had strange/disastrous consequences. Number 23. If you plan ahead and have some money, buy your auntie and uncle a house in Bel Air. Nothing can harm you there, no matter how scared your mother is. I get the reference. Number 24. Secret, secluded, untouched places in old buildings are left untouched for a reason. Pioneers never say die, but in fact, they do have an unusual high morality rate. Number 25. Before you start swimming in ice-cold waters of a murky lake at the center of a dark forest at midnight, ask yourself, do you really want to travel to an ancient and terrifying city? If the answer is no, then stay at home instead and watch whatever quality programming is available on Cinemax. Number 26. On your 33rd birthday, try celebrating it in a well-lit house with the company of others. Number 27. Refrain from using the one true name for anything. There is probably a reason people gave it a nick. Number 28. Watching the TV static for long periods may be hazardous to your health. Try satellite TV to combat this problem. Number 29. Get a cat. Those furry little hairballs seem to perceive unnatural phenomena better than us. And if desperate, simply throwing it at whatever is about to get you. Number 30. Cemeteries are bad places, especially in foggy conditions on Halloween. Number 31. Try not to close your eyes, ever. If you must, do so only briefly. Number 32. If you hear chanting, run until you are out of earshot. Number 33. If you are too old to play with dolls, you do not need to be anywhere near one of those creepy little fuckers. Number 34. Legends can offer valuable insight of where not to go camping with friends. Number 35. When babysitting, ascertain the family's tastes and preferences to avoid being killed by poorly selective statues. Number 36. Even if you are certain that running will not save you, it's always best to try.
Was that all?
Pretty much. I see a little.
And don't throw your cat at the thing that's chasing you. Don't hurt the animal.
Aminal.
I'd rather protect my cat. I'd rather sacrifice myself for my cat, bro. I ain't throwing my cat. I'm just remembering now. The only remotely scary thing, it's not even scary. It's just like, I mean, back then we used to say it was like, we were always thinking, oh yeah, it's one of us who did it. But like, I remember our garage door in like one of my old houses. We would always leave it open, apparently, even though everyone was so convinced that they'd shut it and that they hadn't opened it. And so it was like open a lot. Like every few days it would be open. So we would just say, "Oh, it was the boogeyman." But like it opened a lot. Like it was just open. And none of us opened it. Like we were so convinced none of us opened it or we closed it. But like I was like a kid back then, so like maybe one of us did leave it open, but it happened so much where I'm just like was it a ghost or something? Like
I know who it
whoa.
was. It was Da Vinci.
It was Da Vinci.
Is that Da Vinci?
Yes, Da Vinci is haunting a house in Australia.
Yeah.
Where'd
Alright.
my music go? Oh, it's just
Let
on
me
a
tell
break
you
period, I
about
guess.
the real other story that me and Tanif nearly died from.
What?
Yeah, let me explain to you. So this story is called Axedale. We were driving to South Australia to go and do some, do some things. We were helping Blake's mum move here. On the way there, it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, and we drove past this very, very small town of maybe like less than 100 people called Axedale. And we passed the town, and between this town and the next major town was a 20-minute drive of forest, essentially. And let's say we were about 5 minutes in the drive as a car was coming up behind us. And we thought that they wanted to overtake us, so we slowed down a little. But then they slowed down a little and stayed behind us. And, we thought that they were gonna, like, go around us because, yeah. And then it got even more weirder. It was intentional that they were behind us. They turned on their high beams and tried to, they were tailgating us.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're probably tailgating if you guys thought that they were gonna overtake.
Yeah. And they
They're
turned on
probably
their
right up your ass.
They turned on their high beams to try and blind Tanif, who was driving. And then we were very, like, scared. Tanif was starting to cry because it was really bright. It was in their eyes and it was burning. I tried to block it. My phone didn't have reception. Tanif's phone did, fortunately. So we first was like, Tanif was like, okay, I'm going to slow down and try to turn around. And they did. And it turns out it was a van that was behind us. Like, it was a big van. And
White van?
I think so. But
Okay.
Tanif was gonna go to try and turn around. I said not to. I said you should just try and, like, keep your speed. And Tanif ended up slowing down, pulling to the left side of the road, and this van went to the right of us and tried blocking us from turning around. And then Tanif said, fuck it, put their foot to the pedal, and we just went straight, like, ahead, fast. And then they, tailgated us again with the high beams on still. And I grabbed Tanif's phone and I called the police. They asked us what road we were on, and I couldn't figure it out at the time. But I was still on the phone to them, and eventually I did figure it out. And then when I'm guessing we were getting too close to the town, that the van ended up turning off the road. And then
Go to, and then we're still taking us in the zone. Oh, jeez.
yeah. And then yeah.
I would have started speeding, bro. I would have been like, nah, I'm out of here, fucking bitch.
Yeah. And then yeah, they turned off to a different road. We told the police when we were on the phone to them. We got to the next town, luckily. And we went straight to the police station. And the police said that, you know, there's nothing we can really do at the moment. But we asked them if there was anywhere we could stay for the night. And they didn't end up helping us. And so we went to
That's fucked.
yeah. And then we went to the McDonald's and grabbed like dinner. Very shaken up about it. And then after that, we were looking around for a hotel which we could stay for the night. Or like a motel or anything like that, you know? Somewhere safe for us to sleep. We couldn't find anything. So
What the fuck?
what we ended up doing for the rest of the night is we parked outside of a gas station and just slept in the car. We slept in the car outside of a gas station. But
No, that's smart though.
the gas station was closed.
Why didn't you go to McDonald's? They're open 24/7.
Yeah. I think it was because of how tired we were, because at this point, it had been like 4 a.m. after looking for like all of these like places. No, we didn't, Tanif. We didn't. We stayed at the gas station and we slept there outside. And there was like trains passing by through the night. And then around 5 to 6 a.m. in the morning when it was still dark, a person, like the person who was working at the gas station finally came and opened up the gas station, the lights turned on. And then I think we went on our way after that. Jeez.
Creepy.
Very.
Scary.
Spooky.
Police are useless. Like there is so much they could do. They could like, I mean, they could put it in the records definitely of just like, oh, there's a van in this area that is, you know, being super creepy, dangerous, you know. Super spooky. Super spooky.
What's the next one you want to, you want me to read the next one?
You can if you want. I already have the smiling man in black one up if you want me to read that.
That's completely up to you. Cause you and I did the first one, you did the second one, then you did the third one, I did the fourth one. So I guess I should do the fifth one, you do the sixth one.
Okay.
I don't know which one to do though.
So let me read the list off again. So we have the Russian sleep experiment. We have the entity. And we have the midnight meat train.
I think.
Do you want me to read the little description thing for each one of them?
No, it's cool. I know what the Russian experiment is. I might do the midnight meat train.
Okay. Apparently it's a gruesome one.
Okay.
So trigger warning for gore.
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 What's it actually called? Because I can't find it.
It's called the Midnight Meat Train.
When looking for stories to send, a few people said the Russian sleep experiment is good. Yeah.
Ooh.
I know. Yeah, I know what it is. So I'm excited to get to that, but I
to
want to read.
it? Yeah. We'll read that one like ninth. I'll read it after the smiling
I can't find
man in
this
black.
Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah.
Did you have a link for it?
Let me find a link. Hold up.
Oh, there's actually a movie on it.
Oh wow.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, you found it?
Yep. Oh, this is a really long one.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Alright, scrap that. Makes sense on why there's a movie on it. Alright, I'll do Russian sleep experiment.
Okay.
Here it is. Alright.
I might do the entity.
Oh, that's an
after.
Oh, there's actually multiple of them.
There's multiple of them?
There's one here which is an audio story.
We won't do that one.
Yeah, there's one by 2012.
I'd say just do the one that's the oldest. That isn't the audio one.
Yeah. Alright, I think it is this one. Okay. Okay, that's the story. Just seeing how long it is. It's also pretty long too. How long would you consider too long to be?
Well, how long is it?
I'll send it to you. I think maybe this one we can do like paragraph by paragraph, since it is a longer one.
Oh, it's 12 minutes. It's not that bad.
I'll read it. I'll read it, and if I need to like swap over, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wait, appearance and origins. Huh.
Alright.
Is just the first part the, like...
No, if you scroll down, it's the story.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, I skipped
Yeah.
past it. My bad. Okay, I'm ready.
Alright. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them, since it was toxic in high concentrations. This was before the closed-circuit cameras, so they had only microphones and 5-inch of thick glass porthole-sized windows into the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on, but no bedding, running water, and toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The subjects hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be freed if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past, and the general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the 4-day mark. After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that had led them to where they were and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternatively whispering to the microphones and one-way mirrored portholes Oddly, they all seemed to think they could win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity with them. At first, the researchers suspected this was an effect on the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber repeatedly, yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. He continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about this behavior is how the other captives reacted to it, or rather, didn't react to it. They continued whispering to the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The two non-screaming captives took their books apart, smeared page after page with their own feces, and pasted them calmly over the gas portholes. The screaming promptly stopped. So did the whispering to the microphones. After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it was impossible that no sound could be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the captives. They were afraid were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of your immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard a single phrase in the calm response: "We no longer want to be freed." Debate broke out among the researchers and the military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened and soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call that the state that any of them were in life. The food rations past day 5 had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of meat from the dead test subjects' thighs and chest stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, blocking the drain and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination on the position and angles of the wounds indicate that the most of them were self-inflicted. The abnormal organs below the rib cage of all 4 test subjects had been removed, while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place. The skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through their rib cage. All the blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen to be working, digesting food. It quickly became apparent that they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off and eaten over the course of days. Most of the soldiers were Russian special operatives at the facility, But still, many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. They continued to scream to be left in the chamber, and alternatively begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on, lest they fell asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another was gravely injured by having his testicles removed off, and an artery in his leg severed by one of the test subjects' teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives if you count one that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured, and he bled out almost instantly. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this was proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arms of one doctor. When a heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes after he had bled out, to the point that there was more air in his vascular system than the blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flare for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, and just repeated the word "more" over and over, weaker and weaker, until he fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility. The 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begged for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought ferociously against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under. He managed to tear most of the way through it, a 4-inch wide leather strap on one wrist, even though the weight of a 200-pound soldier was holding that wrist as well. It took a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under. And the instant his eyelids fluttered and is closed, his heart stopped. In the autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. His muscles that had still been attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle to not be subdued. Most of them were found from the forces of his own muscles and exerted on them. The second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head lightly yes when someone suggested reluctantly. They tried the surgery without anesthetic, and did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin. The surgeon presiding state repeatedly that it should be medically possible for the patient to still be alive. One terrified nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so the patient could write his message. It was simple. Keep cutting. The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well. Although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation, the surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their system in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they had injured themselves, why they'd ripped off their own guts, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. Only one response was given: I must remain awake. All 3 subjects' restraints were reinforced and they were placed back into the chamber awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, a former KGB agent, instead saw a potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were to be put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but were overruled. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had their restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all 3 stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that at this point, all 3 were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might. First left, then right, then left again for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brain waves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined unexpectedly. It looked as if he were repeatedly suffering from brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brain waves immediately changed to that of a deep sleep, then flattened for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flatness as one who had just died from sleeping. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 researchers. One of the named 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed, as the remaining member of the medical research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things. Not with you, he screamed at the man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know. The subject smiled. Have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all. Begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds at every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread. The researchers paused, then aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out, so nearly free.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was creepy in a different way. It's not ghost shit, it's just fucking humans.
Humans, man. Humans under a gas. But, like, keep in mind that, like, the whole, like, point of this, like, sleeping experiment was in the 1940s, pretty much just before World War II started. So, they didn't have, like, technology that we had today either.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Creepy moment. I'm gonna post the VOD to YouTube later.
Nice. Okay.
Well, when are you gonna read the smile thing? What'd you say it was called?
The Smiling Man in Black. This one's a 3-minute one.
Okay. Here it is. I found it. All right.
Ready?
Yep.
When I was younger, I lived with my father. Oh, wait. Pause. Wait a sec. Sorry, I need to restart this. My music went, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable without the creepy music. Anyway.
Hold on.
Hmm?
Sorry. When we're done, Tanith, JJ will be waiting to watch a thingamajiggy.
Sure, maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing I want to watch that's starting at 12:30. That's all.
That's about an hour from now. But won't you?
Yeah.
Isn't it gonna go for like? Because it's gonna be every single.
The thing I'm watching is going to be like 2 hours long.
Yeah. What I might do.
I can let you know when it's near the end of the last or the saga that we've already got.
Yeah, because I might lay down and shut my eyes for a bit because my eyes are like stinging. But then like when it because you'll give me a time when it might be finished and I'll wake up at that time again if I do fall asleep.
Yeah. Probably around 2 p.m.
Yeah.
is when the new saga will probably release.
And then we can watch these like horror videos or SCP stuff. And then after that we'll watch Tribe 9.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Cool. Sounds good.
Alright.
Okay. Now for a story. When I was younger, I lived with my father and his mother. I was the only child, a girl at that, and my father was very protective of me. My grandmother, on the other hand, hated me. At first, she would just yell at me and shove me around when Dad was at work. It escalated quickly after he started working longer. Wait, what? It escalated quickly after he started working longer.
It's supposed to say hours.
Oh, it escalated quickly after he started working longer hours to make ends meet. Right. I rarely saw my father at that point. For 4 years, she did things I can't even bring myself to really think about. Not enough to write it. For those 4 years, I prayed and prayed for release. I prayed and wished for her to die. To God, whoever would listen. My dad probably would have believed me if I'd had a chance to talk to him. But she'd made me feel as though I were an abomination over the years that I couldn't bear it anymore. After she killed my kitten and made me bury it, at the age of 13, I attempted suicide by hanging myself inside my closet. Apparently, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and the bar in the closet that I'd tied myself to fell on my head and knocked me the fuck out. I pulled myself up and headed to sneak into the bathroom without the monster cunt to catch me. Hold on, let me reread that. Luckily, my mom wasn't home. I pulled myself up and headed to sneak into the bathroom without the monster cunt to catch me and give me another beating. As I left my bedroom, I caught a whiff of something very fucking rancid. Like vomit, burning flesh, and blood mixed together, warm. I knew all of these smells fairly well, considering what my grandmother did to me, and I thought for a moment it might have been my imagination, or her making something disgusting for me to eat, to torture me more. While I recognized the separate smells in a way, I'd never smelled anything like this. As I got closer and closer to the stairs overlooking the living room, which was right across from the bathroom, I started hearing something. Faintly, I remember hearing it a few feet back. But suddenly, it seemed so much louder. My head was pounding. My heart was pounding. And all I could hear was gurgle, smack, smack, squish, rip. The mere idea of peeking over the stairs and into the living room was suddenly so profoundly frightening that I almost just went back to my bedroom. But strangely enough, it was amazingly easy to just do it anyway. What I saw in the living room will never leave me for as long as I live, in more than one sense. My grandmother was lying on the ground. There was someone wearing black kneeling over her. They were both covered in blood. The person's head was moving rhythmically over its hands, which held what I then realized was some organ in her body. The person didn't look up, and I was scared silent. There was so much blood. So much blood. The sound of gnawing, the smacking mouth, the snapping of her organs as they were ripped from my grandmother's body, what was left of it. The brutally grotesque side of her chest cavity having been torn open, of her body being consumed little by little, filled me with terror I had never known before. I didn't know what to do. It ate her body, slowly, seemingly to enjoy every bite it took. His body swaying and moving so unnaturally that I couldn't even think it was human. I couldn't stop watching. I couldn't run away. The sheer terror of it choked the scream I would have let out. It stopped. I stopped. It looked up at me after what seemed an eternity, releasing the contents of its mouth. Gory pieces and blood, some brown at that point, covered most of its face. What I could see of the face, it seemed to be male, very pale in patches. Where eyes were supposed to be were black pits that seemed to dilate, expand, and retract. He had no lips, but his mouth twitched like some kind of hologram going in and out, slowly smiling. The smile expanded beyond normal human ability. I vomited and fainted. I woke up and my father was home and worrying over me. My grandmother's body was gone along with all of the blood. Where's Grandma? Where is she? I kept asking him until I had to stop from the look in his eyes. He told me her heart was bad and she was in heaven now. I couldn't believe it. That was impossible, right? Did I imagine the whole thing? At her funeral, on the way to her burial site, I saw the man again. He looked more human, but I knew it was him. I remembered that smile. That day, I smiled back. I still have dreams about that man. Sometimes I think I see him in public. Even when I don't see him, I can feel him there. He's always there, watching me.
Oof.
Well, I feel like he's like a good one though. He's a good guy.
Because he technically saved her from her grandmother.
Yeah. Like he killed
Mm,
evil person.
yeah.
Like a truly evil person. That's why it's like, okay, well, it's one of the kind of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Still very creepy though.
Very creepy.
Very creepy.
Okay.
I can read another. I could read like two more if you want, because you read a long one.
Yeah, if there's a shorter one, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go by rating.
Yo, it's Sea of D's.
See if these.
Yeah, in your chat.
Oh, hello, CFDs. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I didn't see it. I was focusing on looking for a creepypasta.
CreepyPasta.
Creepypasta. That's 12-minute one. I want a shorter one. Whoa, an hour long one. That's crazy.
Tanif said that I'll send you the I'm gonna send you the list that Tanif sent me. Oh, I should have just forwarded it. It would have been easier.
Brian.
Yeah, Herobrine's there.
Okay, dead Bart we've seen. I kinda wait. Okay, I think
I only just saw, you know how we did the eye glowy thing? I just saw how yours looked. Yours looks way more glowier than my one does.
yeah, because I turned it up a bunch,
How'd you turn it up?
basically. The bloom.
Oh, my bloom is already up.
Yeah, but if you turn the top thing up on the bloom, like the very, very first thing.
Then my moon becomes super bloomy.
Okay, turn it. We can read Eyeless Jack, because that one's a 6-minute one.
Ah! Eyeless
There's
Jack.
fucking photos! It's kind of creepy.
Creepy photos moment. Ah! Jesus, motherfucker! Link!
Was it? Yeah. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Bam, 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 bam.
Happy Halloween. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. The pipe bunk doesn't quite work at the moment. I have to fix that. Back to looking for Mary. Is it a Silent Hill thing?
Probably.
Chat, is this real? So which one did you say you were gonna read? Or do you know?
I was gonna read Eyeless Jack.
Alright, I'm pulling that up so I can read along. Okay. Yeah, this would make sense if you read this one and then we swap again. Ah, motherfucker! Alright,
Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
You gotta scroll down a bit. But
I have.
Jack CreepyPasta. Okay, cool. Hello, my name is Mitch. I'm here to tell you guys about an experiment I had. I don't know if it was paranormal or whatever stupid words people use to describe supernatural phenomena, but after that thing visited me, I believe in that paranormal trash now. Anyway. A week after I moved in with my brother, Edwin, after my house was foreclosed, I finished unpacking. Edwin liked the idea of me moving in since we had not seen each other for 10 years. So I was excited too. I soon fell asleep after moving in. After that first week, I heard rustling noises coming from outside at about 1 in the morning. I thought it was a raccoon, so I ignored it and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told Edwin about it, and he agreed. The next night, however, I thought I heard my window opening and a loud thump, as if something entered my room. I darted up and looked around my room, but I saw nothing. The next morning, Edwin dropped his coffee cup when he saw me. He held up a nearby mirror, and I saw myself. I had a large gash in my left cheek. After I was rushed to the hospital, my doctor told me that I must have been sleepwalking, but then he showed me something that made my blood turn cold. He lifted up my shirt and revealed a sewn-up incision where my kidneys were. I stared into his eyes, mine widening. You somehow lost your left kidney last night, my doctor told me. We don't know how, though. Sorry, Mitch. The next night was my breaking point. Around midnight, I woke up to see a truly horrifying sight. I was staring face to face with a creature with a black hoodie and dark blue mask with no nose or mouth staring down at me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had no eyes, just empty black sockets. The creature also had some black substance dripping from its sockets. I grabbed a camera from the nearby mantle and took a picture immediately. After taking the shot, the creature lunged at me and tried to claw open my chest to get my lungs. I stopped it by kicking it in the face. As I ran out of the room, I grabbed my wallet. I would need the money. I ran out of my brother's house into the night. I eventually ended up in the woods near Edwin's house and tripped on a rock. I fell unconscious and woke up in the hospital. My doctor, the same one who treated me before, entered the room. I have good news and bad news, Mitch. My doctor started. The good news is that you had minor injuries and your parents are going to pick you up. I sighed with the relief. The bad news is that your brother has been killed by something. Sorry. My parents took me back to Edwin's house to collect my remaining belongings, which I did. Upon entering my room, I was scared, but remained calm. I grabbed my camera and then stopped dead in my tracks. In the hallway leading to my room, I saw Edwin's body and something small lying next to it. I retrieved it up and entered my parents' car, not mentioning Edwin's corpse. I looked at the thing I had picked up and nearly vomited. I was holding my stolen half-eaten kidney with some black substance on it.
Damn.
Damn.
That's
Damn.
That's fucking creepy.
That's fucking creepy.
Jeez Louise. That is definitely something else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read the distorted warning signs. Sorry,
Ooh,
distorted
okay.
warning signals. Have a quick breather. GG. Oh, fucking... I didn't send this to you, but I made a joke to Reiku yesterday. Because...
Oh.
Fortnite's posting these, like, little teasers. I just forwarded it to you.
Yeah.
Read what I said.
Oh. No. No. Wait, I need to... Okay, next season that comes out on Fortnite, we need to play more.
Oh, dude, it comes out in 2 days.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I'm
and
planning
I didn't
on it
even
as
finish
well.
the current battle pass, and I have it.
I
have the battle pass, and I haven't even finished it.
I only have the battle pass because of the crew. But
Yeah.
no, I didn't
I
really.
got crew as
I didn't
well.
really enjoy this season.
Neither.
But we'll see.
I think it's because it's all Marvel.
Yeah.
And I liked it when that one battle pass where they had Gwen Stacy.
That
where
is
they
this
had like one Marvel skin.
Oh.
No. Not
Oh, that
not
yep.
Gwenpool.
Sorry. Yep.
Spider-Gwen.
Yep.
Gwen's Spider-Gwen. Yeah.
I believe that was the same battle pass that Eren Yeager was on, actually.
Yeah, something like that. But I like how they have, like, they don't have everything as, like, one thing. Like, they have, like, multiple different theming, I guess, things.
Hmm.
And they have, like, crossover stuff. Like, you know, they have, like, Marvel, but it's not the entire Battle Pass. Which
Yeah.
was this one, and I didn't like it. Because I'm not a Marvel person.
I'm still just laughing at, like, Disney's whole, we don't want our characters in the Fortnite, you know, game with guns. And it's just like, bro, what do you think you signed up for?
Bro, yeah, what did you sign up for? Also, like, that's sick as fuck. I'm sorry. In a game, not in real life. But yeah, they have, like, Cruella de Vil and stuff now.
Yeah.
I want Descendants. That's what I want.
Yeah, I told you about that, Drew. Like, thought. Oh, fuck.
I want Carlos.
Yeah.
My boy.
My boy. Alright.
Yeah.
You ready for the next one?
Yep.
This one is called Distorted Warning Signals, written by Ashley Rose Wellman. When I got the first one, I was literally seconds away from stepping onto the plane. Wait a minute. Actually, I know which one this is.
Oh no.
This is one that was also done on Smosh as well.
Wait, was it?
Yeah. All right. You'll recognize it. All right, you ready? I'll restart.
When I got the first one, I was literally seconds away from stepping into the plane when. Oh, it's this one.
Yep,
Okay, yeah.
Yep,
Sorry.
you recognized it. Yeah.
From Unknown. Yeah, this one's really cool.
All right.
I like this one.
When I got the first
I
one.
think this is actually one of my favorite ones. Sorry.
When I got the first one, I was literally seconds away from stepping onto the plane when a call from unknown blared from my cell phone. It was a ringtone I hadn't heard before. One I was pretty sure hadn't come with the phone. Normally, I wouldn't have stopped to answer it, but I was expecting a call about a job I had interviewed for the previous week. I took a deep breath in and accepted the call. Hello? Do not get on the plane. Oh, do not get on the plane. A woman's voice gargled and strange, as if her vocal cords had been shredded, and she was trying to desperately choke out speech. Despite the unnerving, fractured quality of her voice, her tone was insistent and eerily calm. Then the call ended. I froze. I had always had a slight phobia of air travel, and something about this call just... There's no way I was able to get on a 7-hour flight now. I turned around and headed towards the food court. I'd just get another flight later in the afternoon, I figured. I watched from the airport Starbucks 3 hours later as every TV in the terminal lit up with the crash footage of a plane that I should have been on. No survivors, not a single one. I tried to trace the call, so did the police, but there was nothing to trace. There was no evidence my phone had ever received a call around that time. They analyzed the phone records, incoming and outgoing communications to my phone. Nothing. I wasn't making it up. I couldn't have been. That wasn't the only call. Throughout the years, there were a few and far between, but always right, and I always listened. Do not go on that blind date tonight. 5 months later, my would-be date was convicted of killing 4 women, all with my hair color and build. Found them in a shallow grave about 250 feet from the diner where he offered to take me. Do not drive to that concert tonight. 18-wheeler lost control and plowed into a line of cars, every driver crushed, every driver killed in the stretch of the freeway I would have been driving down. No matter if I got a new phone, if I moved across the country, the calls would still come. I could almost feel the presence of whatever it was, whatever it is, watching over me. I imagined being at the bottom of a freezing ocean, still strapped to my coach section plane seat, or being in that mass grave murder from the diner, or watching an 18-wheeler skidding towards my car. Knowing death was imminent, and I'd get this tightness in my chest, I'd think about how thin that line was, how close I'd gotten. If I hadn't had a job interview, I was waiting to hear back from... I had never listened to the first call, and that would be it for me. It always felt like something was coming for me, but there was always this fractured, warped voice with these calls that never seemed to exist after I heard them. Self-destructing warning signals running away before my eyes, and I was alive. I had a bad feeling about this cruise. I had planned it as a girls' week out with some of my old friends from college, and I was looking forward to a week in the tropics in the dead of winter. But part of me could almost sense that the call was coming. Maybe I'd watched Titanic one too many times, but there was a little nagging fear from the start. I hoped it would be fine, but I knew that if something was going to happen, I'd get the call. I'd know. Now a week before I'm set to go on the cruise, after stepping into my apartment, after returning from the diner with a friend, I noticed my cell has a message from unknown. They never had to leave a message before. Haven't checked it all night. Damn it. And I had really wanted to go on that cruise too. Oh well, not worth whatever horrific fate awaited me in that cold, dead ocean. I click play message and my stomach dropped as I listened to the voice, sounding horrifically distorted as if it emanates from a throat slashed to ribbons, crackling with more urgency than ever before. I look around my apartment as the voice in the phone repeats the same phrase over and over. Do not come home after dinner tonight. Do not come home after dinner tonight. Do not come home after dinner tonight.
Such a good fucking one.
I
Bruh,
I just love how, yeah, she was like, oh, message from unknown. Oh, it's gonna be the cruise.
It's gonna be about the cruise, and then it's like, nope, don't come home, and she's at home. Like, that's crazy.
So scary. It's such a good one though.
Yeah, it sounds like a guardian angel kind of thing.
For real.
It's like messaging her and stuff.
But yeah, she's probably dead.
Yeah. Most likely.
What can I get for you? A drink? Some snacks? Or a little death?
Or a little flames. Mocktails, mocktails, that. The arson is real nice.
Oh my god, actually speaking of arson. Musical sent this to me earlier.
Oh.
Wait for it.
What the heck? The heck?
Love it. I think we probably have room for one or two more, then it'll be 12 o'clock.
That's what I was gonna say.
You read the next
Okay.
one. You wanted to read...
Okay.
I can't even remember what it was.
Was there one I wanted to read?
Maybe you already read it and I just forgot already.
Oh, The Entity.
Oh, The Entity.
Yeah, it's a collection of short stories, apparently.
Mm. I might read the dead Bart one for Tanif's, because I wanted to show Tanif that one. Okay.
So there's one called Construction Site Entity, and there's one called Entity 303. You take your pick.
Oh, you want me to pick?
The Entity 303 is commonly said to be the new Herobrine, and then the Construction Site Entity is construction worker stuff.
Okay.
Minecraft or real life?
Minecraft's not that scary, so I don't know, honestly. We could probably do the Minecraft one. Oh, that's 10 minutes long? Wait, how long is the construction site one?
Oh, wait, the 13. Okay, never mind. We'll do the construction one. The construction one's like 5 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes, yeah.
We'll do, oh, 4 minutes, yeah. We'll do the construction site entity one then.
Alright.
Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
To this day, I have no idea what I saw. People I tell seem to not believe me, but I swear this is true. A little background before I get into it. I'm a 29-year-old construction worker, been doing it since high school. Metal framing and sheetrock mostly. I am in decent shape, no history of mental disorders in my family. Only problem I have developed over the years is a mild case of tinnitus from being stubborn and refusing to wear ear protection. It comes during times of silence, like when I'm trying to sleep. so I tried to keep the TV or a fan on to cancel out the ringing. Work was getting very slow where I lived, so I decided to move to Virginia. I was staying with a friend who got me a sweet gig with a local construction company on Norfolk Naval Base. Huge job. 5-story building, complete build out from the ground up. Good pay, not exactly close to where we were staying, but the drive wasn't bad as long as I made it in before the morning traffic. Only thing wrong with the job was the foreman was the foreman, which was who was a complete asshole. Always talking down to us workers in that sort of passive aggressive tone that made me want to punch him in the face. But as long as we stayed busy, he didn't bother with us for long. It was a huge job, and he had a lot of people to bug. About 4 months into the job, I injured my right hand, sliced my middle finger on a piece of metal. It didn't hurt at all. The doctor stitching me up said it was because I cut so deep. It severed the nerves. The next day, I had to file an injury report and everything. My boss said he was going to put me on light duty and that I didn't have to do anything except sweep until my hand healed. I was all for it. Some pay for easy work for the first week. Things were all right. But then it started getting boring. I mean, really boring. The days dragged on and I wondered why they didn't just pay me to stay home. So naturally, I started wondering the job to kill time. Checking out the hallways, and there were plenty of hallways. Really long and gloomy looking when they were just grey brick all around. Some at the very top didn't even have temporary lighting and would have been pitch black if it weren't for the huge window cutouts on each end letting in sunlight. I stayed away from those hallways. They creeped me out. One day, I was feeling bored, so I decided to go walk around the 4th floor. Most of the work had been finished, and there weren't any other trades doing work there at the time, so I had it all to myself. It was around that time I noticed my tinnitus was acting up worse than usual. I figured someone must have had a generator running or something, so I started moving towards the other end of the hallway. About 3/4 of the way, my ears start painfully ringing. I tried sticking my fingers in my ears and humming, which usually does the trick, but the ringing was so intense. I started feeling nauseous, and I fell over on my hands and knees. I was slapping my ears, trying to make the ringing stop. My ears started watering at one point because I was slapping my head so hard. I got up on my knees, still covering my ears, trying to get to my feet so I could make it to the stairwell. But the ringing was so intense, every move I made sent my head spinning. Moving slowly helped, but not much. As I turned around, I noticed someone standing at the other end of the hallway near one of the window cutouts. The sun behind him was so bright, and all I could see was a silhouette. I started yelling, "Help! Help!" as soon as I could, or as loud as I could. But the guy didn't move. I thought maybe he had earplugs in and couldn't hear me, so I started moving towards him, slowly so my head wouldn't spin. As I got closer, I started noticing that some things I hadn't before. First, this guy was huge, like impossibly huge. His head was small in proportion to his body and near the top of the window. His shoulders were really wide and high, almost like he was shrugging. His arms were long, hanging down past his waist, with really long fingers on each hand. I still couldn't make out any facial features because of the bright sun behind him, but as I started realizing this person wasn't normal, I slowly backed away. He just stood there, looking right at me. I was almost to the stairs when the thing slowly cocks its head to the side, like a dog does when it's confused, and the ringing in my ears just goes crazy. It was extremely painful. At the time, I thought my ears were bleeding. I was pressing my hands into my ears and yelling, but it was so loud I couldn't even hear myself yell. I dropped back on my hands and knees and threw up on the floor until I was puking air. I looked up to see if this thing was coming after me, but I caught a last glimpse of it as it walked into a nearby room. The instant it disappeared around the corner, the ringing in my ears just stopped, like someone hit the mute button. Needless to say, I ran the fuck out of there and didn't look back. I stayed away from the 4th floor for the next couple of months. I told a few people what I saw, but they only pretended to be interested. It was about 5 months after it happened when I decided to go back up there. I checked every room. If there was any signs of this thing, they were long gone. I went to the window where it was standing and took a measurement. The top of the window was 10 foot 9 inches. I still have tinnitus. There have been a few times when I'm laying in bed at night and the ringing gets painful, and I freak out and check every room in my apartment, but it never gets as bad as it was that day. I really hope it never does.
Damn, that's crazy. Just imagine, like, the tinnitus and, like, only being because of that thing, because of its ringing.
Ah! What was that for?
You better check your house.
Ah!
Wait, did that
No!
Oh, that was coming from Tanif's TV. I heard it again. I was like, what the fuck?
Because Tanith is watching this.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Ah!
Alright.
Dead Bart!
Dead Bart.
Dead Bart!
I really like this one.
This one's good.
I like it because you'll understand. Icky noise, yeah. Alright.
What do you mean I'll understand? I've already seen it. It was on Splash.
Hmm?
Huh?
Oh, no, I meant for Tanith.
Oh, for Tanith.
Yeah.
Has Tanith read this one?
No, they haven't. I sent it to them, but they didn't see it yet.
Okay.
They suggest.
Well,
they,
yes,
yeah,
read it then.
they sent it in for us to read.
Okay.
Alright. You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from season 1. Finding details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. From what has been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. During production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was present results in them getting very angry and forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt. The episode's production number was 7G44. The title was Dead Bart. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. At a fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I followed him. Probably expected a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the lost episode though, all color drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me any details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it, and handed it to me. He begged me never to mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser, and I came to a site that was completely black except for a line of yellow text, a download link. I clicked on it, and a file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I'd ever seen. System restore didn't work. The entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing this though, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, and as I suspected, there was an episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but had very poor animation quality. If you've seen the original animation for Some Enchanted Evening, it was very similar, but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way the characters acted was a little off. Homer seemed angrier, Marge seemed more depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taking off. Bart was fooling around, as you'd expect. However, the plane was about 50 feet off the ground. Bart broke a window on the plane and was sucked out. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of The Simpsons world represented life, and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of it not having to move, and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. Act 1 ended with the shot of Bart's corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at their table, crying. The crying went on and on. It got more pained and sounded more realistic, better acting than you'd think possible. The animation started to decay even more as they cried. You could hear murmuring in the background. This crying went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened up with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletally thin and sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked to the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was just laying in front of his tombstone, looking like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Eventually they stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face. According to summaries, Homer tells a joke at this part, but it wasn't audible in the version I saw. You can't tell what Homer is saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstones in the background had the names of every Simpsons guest star on them, some that no one had heard of in 1989, some that haven't been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. For guests who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison, the dates were when they would die. You could try to use the tombstones to predict the death of the living Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about most of the ones who haven't died yet. All their dates are listed as the same date.
Was
I just love how they take the full-on, like, oh, you know, Simpsons predicted it thing to, like, a full-on...
yeah. So like a full-on like scary thing, like
for real.
Yeah. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy.
Creepy. Super creepy.
Creepy.
Mm-hmm. And perfect, it's 12 p.m.
Woo.
You saw a clip from a recent episode where Bart actually went back to the first episode. Oh, that's crazy.
Wow. There was a so Smosh released a new video, right?
Mm.
And they're asking their cast members some like the scary stories that they had.
Mm.
I don't know, did I show you it? I don't think I
Mm-mm.
showed you it. It was on Smoshcast. But the scariest one was Tommy's one,
Ooh.
where he and his roommate lived in a place. And basically, he had heard sounds, like him and his roommate had been hearing sounds throughout the night. And, you know, when they'd wake up, they'd be like, hey, something weird happened, didn't it? And they were like, yeah, really weird. One night, something sounded like it was in the vents. So Tommy went, like, and like opened the door or something and went out to his room and was like, "Hey, you hear that sound, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, we hear that sound. Like, what the heck is going on?" So he went back to bed. Tommy tried to go back to bed, but the sound moved from where the vent was to above his head. And then the sound stopped. And he was like, "What the fuck?" One night, they decided that they would try and like cleanse the place and whatever and try and get rid of the ghost. So they did. They went to sleep. The next morning, everything that was hanging on their walls was now on the floor.
What the fuck?
Everything. Apparently there was like one thing broken, but none of them woke up to a sound of like anything falling.
That's weird.
It's so creepy. I was like, damn.
I
There's
was
like
about-
more details to it, but like I can't remember all
I was
of them.
about to mention how like we hear things in our roof, but they're probably either A, rats, or B, possum.
Apparently where above Tommy's head there wasn't any vent there though.
Yeah, we don't have a vent either.
I don't think. I don't remember the details of it though.
It's crazy. I'll have to watch it though.
It was a pretty good story. It's the first one. Chance has a pretty scary one, but it's not ghost related. It's like they snuck into a place, like when they were kids, when he was like in 4th grade, they went to this place and 2 kids fainted and both said that they saw this woman, and they gave a description which matched one of the people who worked there. But Chance and a few friends apparently, like, when they were older, remembered that place and were like, "Oh, let's go sneak in." So they snuck into the place. Something really creepy happened and they left. And later on, they found out that it was actually a meth lab. Or people were using it as a meth lab.
Oh. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then there was one other one, but I don't remember what it was because I don't think it was that scary from what I remember. But I know Amanda has a few scary ones that she talked about.
Speaking of scary, this stream was pretty scary, and you should all check out
Whoa.
JJNami.
Me, little old me, nah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Jeez, crack.
No, you didn't hear the cracks.
I did hear the cracks.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it was a fun stream. Thank
Yeah.
y'all for joining.
thank you very much, everyone, for coming. I'm gonna raid Crazy Girl.
I'm gonna just end stream because with the point.
Fair. I keep writing G. There we go. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing day. Thank you, JJ, for doing this with me, and it was fun. And now that Halloween's about to be over, oh shit, sorry yo, cause I know you're honey.
I'm gonna be singing that. Oh gosh, damn. November and December.